When you picture an overthinker, what usually comes to mind? Probably someone who's just frozen, totally paralyzed by the fear of failure, right? They're stuck in that endless what-if loop, analyzing every single way things could possibly go wrong. But what if we've been looking at this all wrong? What if, for some people, the real fear isn't about failing at all?
I mean, what if the thing that's truly keeping them stuck isn't the fear of the fall, but the fear of the climb? What if the real gut-wrenching anxiety isn't about not getting what they want, but about what happens if they actually do?
And this is where we find this fascinating psychological twist. For a certain type of overthinker, the true hidden fear that keeps them from moving forward is the fear of succeeding. I know, it sounds completely counterintuitive, but the psychology behind it is pretty remarkable. This brings us to what we can call the success paradox. It's this bizarre idea that the very thing you want most is the same thing your subconscious is trying to resist. So why does this happen? Well, a huge part of the puzzle is the fear of self-loss. Just think about it for a second. Success isn't just an achievement you hang on the wall. It fundamentally changes your life, and even your identity. So overthinkers start worrying. If I succeed, am I going to become someone I don't even recognize? Will I get too busy, too distant, more focused on my goals than the people I care about? And that gets right to the heart of it. The subconscious mind isn't really trying to protect you from failing. It's creating resistance not to failure, but to change. It's trying to protect the person you are right now from being totally erased by the person you might become. Now, what's really fascinating is how overthinkers mentally rehearse success. I mean, they don't just plan for it. They live it in their imagination so vividly, the feeling of achievement, the recognition, all of it. It feels so real that when it's time to actually take action in the real world, the urgency is gone. Mentally, they've already been there.
So this leads us to our next big idea, how an overthinker's identity can get all wrapped up in the struggle itself. Sometimes, the journey just becomes way more comfortable than the destination.
Seriously, think about it. All those late nights, the constant planning, the daydreaming about one day, that whole process becomes a core part of who they are. The identity of being the striver or the one with potential is safe. It's familiar.
And this is where the hidden crisis is. If the chase is over, what's left? The struggle to find you. And without it, there can feel like a huge void. Who are you when there's no mountain left to climb? That kind of existential question can be absolutely terrifying, enough to keep someone from ever taking that final step.
Okay, our third section here deals with one of the biggest anxieties of all, visibility. Success puts you on a stage, right? Under a spotlight. And for an overthinker, that glare can be completely blinding.
As long as you're striving, you always have excuses. You can hide behind potential or the idea that you're still working on it. But success, it strips all of that away. You're no longer judged on your potential, but on your actual results. And suddenly, there's nowhere left to hide. This pressure creates a paralyzing kind of perfectionism. First, the overthinker sees success as this final, permanent thing. Because of that, every single step toward it has to be absolutely perfect. The fear of making one wrong, irreversible move is so huge that the end result is, well, inaction. The safest option becomes doing nothing at all. And finally, there's a much quieter, more subtle resistance going on. It's less about a new identity and more about the world that you might be leaving behind. We are all creatures of comfort, right? Success often means outgrowing your old habits, your familiar spots, and sometimes even the people you started with. There's this subconscious pull to just stay where you are, because even if you consciously want more, a part of you doesn't want to leave the comfort of home behind. And so they stay put, they stall, not because they lack ambition, but because the perceived cost of success, that distance it might create from everything they know, it just feels too high. The price feels like losing a part of their world. So to sum it all up, the paralysis isn't really about hitting the ground. It's about the fear of what you'll become when you finally learn to fly. It's the fear of losing yourself, of being seen and judged without any excuses, of outgrowing your world, and of what happens when the journey you've identified with for so long finally comes to an end.
So the next time you find yourself stuck, maybe ask yourself a different question. Are you really afraid of failing? Or are you just maybe a little bit afraid of what will happen if you succeed?